Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about putting AI through what might be the toughest job interview you can imagine, for a job that honestly keeps our whole digital world from collapsing.
Okay, let's kick things off with a little thought experiment. What if, what if your banking app kept a secret diary? Seriously. Imagine every app on your phone, every service you use, is just constantly scribbling down notes about everything it's doing, 24/7.
Well, in the tech world, that secret diary is a real thing. It's called a log. And when something goes wrong, when an app crashes or a website goes down, that log is the first place engineers run to. Reading it, or what they call log analysis, is absolutely crucial. It's how they play detective to figure out what broke and how to fix it.
But here's the catch, though. This isn't just a couple of pages. We are talking about billions, with a B, of new log entries every single day. It's a tidal wave of data. So when something breaks, trying to find that one tiny clue is, well, it's not like finding a needle in a haystack. It's like finding a specific needle in a haystack the size of North America. It's just impossible for a person to do. So, what do you do when you have an impossible problem? You turn to the buzziest, most powerful tool around, right? And that, of course, is artificial intelligence.
I mean, if you were writing a job description for this, large language models, LLMs, they look perfect on paper. They're ridiculously fast. They can sift through insane amounts of data and never get tired or bored. They don't need sleep, they don't need lunch breaks. They seem like the dream employee for reading that endless diary.
But, and this is a big but, are we just hiring them without a real interview? Think about it. We know these AIs can write a poem or a funny email. That's great. But is that the same skill set you need for this super technical, high-stakes job? It feels like we've been hiring them based on a general resume, not an actual skills test for this very specific position.
And that's been a huge gap in the industry. Until recently, there was no standardized test, no benchmark, nothing to actually see if these AIs were any good at log analysis. We were basically just crossing our fingers and hoping for the best.
So, to fix this, a team of researchers from Nankai University, Tsinghua University, and Huawei got together and decided to build, you guessed it, the ultimate AI job interview.
It's called LogEval, and you can think of it like the SATs for AI, or maybe a super tough obstacle course. The whole point is to separate the AIs that just talk a good game from the ones that can actually handle the pressure of keeping our digital world up and running. So, what's on this test? Well, LogEval puts 18 of the biggest AI models through their paces on 4 key skills. First up is parsing. Basically, can it take a jumbled mess of data and make sense of it? Then there's anomaly detection. Can it spot the one weird thing that doesn't belong? Super important. Third is fault diagnosis. This is the detective work, connecting the clues to find the real reason something broke. And last, summarization. Can it give you a quick, easy-to-read summary of what happened? All totally essential skills.
All right, so the test was given. And this is where it gets really, really interesting. Let's look at the report card.
The researchers ran the test in 2 different ways. The first they call zero shot. This is like throwing the AI in the deep end. No instructions, no examples, just go figure it out. Then there's few shot, where they give the AI a little help first, kind of like a small cheat sheet with a few examples of what a right answer looks like.
And man, did that cheat sheet make a difference. Check this out. For finding the root cause of a problem, GPT-4, when it went in blind, zero shot. It only got it right 42% of the time. Kind of meh. But give it just a tiny handful of examples first, its accuracy shot up to a whopping 91%. That's a huge leap.
But here's maybe the most important takeaway from the whole thing. Even though they can learn fast, when the AIs went in blind, no single model aced every part of the test. Not one. It turns out, different AIs are just naturally better at different things.
For example, in those zero-shot tests, Meta's Llama 2 was the star student for spotting weird activity. But GPT-4 was way better at organizing the messy data. And then you had ChatGLM-4 as the top detective for figuring out the root cause, while Claude 3 Sonnet was the best at writing up a summary. It just proves there is no magic, one-size-fits-all AI for this stuff.
Okay, so that's all cool data, but what does it actually mean for you and me, for the tech we rely on every single day?
Well, for the first time, LogEval gives developers a playbook. Instead of just grabbing the most famous AI off the shelf, they can now look at this data and pick the right tool for the right job. It's just common sense, right? You wouldn't ask a plumber to do brain surgery. Now they can pick the specialist AI for the specific task at hand.
And that has a direct effect on us. When developers use the right AI, it means our banking apps are less likely to crash. Our streaming services will be more reliable. We'll see fewer of those frustrating error messages. Basically, this whole project helps make our digital world just a little bit more stable and secure.
You know, the researchers themselves said it best. They said LogEval creates a robust foundation for keeping our systems healthy. And that's exactly what it is, a massive step towards making AI a partner we can actually count on.
So that leaves us with one last big question. We've figured out how to interview an AI to find the best one for fixing things when they're already broken. But what's the next frontier? Can we build an AI that reads that secret diary and prevents the system from ever failing in the first place?